The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Sub Deadites, I know I teased this a long time ago, relatively speaking, but I'd like to welcome you to, well, weird flex here. I've always wanted to say the full name, so I will. This is What If Kazuma Was the Reincarnation of the Former Demon King, like you read the title. And it is clearly a Kono Subabashi Sekai ni Shukufuku. That's God's blessing on this wonderful world. What a very long-winded title. Damn, Japan. But, I digress. Let's hit this. So, this is going to be an entirely different Kazuma for multiple reasons. First being, I cannot, in good conscience, do this with canon Kazuma. The story will start the same way, but the first change is gonna be how he dies. Dude actually goes out like a hero. Ever watch Gantz? Some kid falls in the track and he goes to get him. Unfortunately, for Kazuma, he doesn't make it in time to get out safely. He wasn't exactly the strongest student in history, and a shot in life didn't really help. To be more specific, he's like usually of an average, farewell good strength, but he's not the fastest. And there's no way he's outrunning that damn train. However, in his last moments, he could have sworn that the kid had long ears. But at least the kid was alive. We get to the scene with Aqua, and she's still mean about it to a degree. Too bad. Your luck was horrible. Not everyone was made to be a hero. In their world, at least. That's when he gets asked what he wants to take with him to the next world, and I'm going to change the wording here. Alright, how about this? I'd like the goddess in front of me to go with me as my loving bride. No way, you can't do. Very well. I pronounce thee man and wife. Now, sorry about that, Kazumin fans, but since this is a magical marriage, and he said loving wife, these two will be absolutely in love with each other once they get there. So Aqua hops on top of Kazuma and attempts to wring his little neck. However, here's a scene just for you once they disappear. Huh. According to this, his soul was meant to be down there anyway. Why in the world was he on Earth? That's Eris's problem. Fade to a broken down tavern in Axel Village to hear moaning, groaning, and a bed creaking for dear life. The bed breaks and the two laugh. We broke the bed again, Kazuma. Maybe we should get a new one. Kazuma sighs. With what money, dear? We've been at it for a week. I think it's time for us to head to the guild. He was right. The two of them had thoroughly christened the tavern, and I shudder to call it that. Before anyone gets mad here, remember, Aqua's body is damn near perfect, and in this case, she is Kazuma's wife. Of course they're gonna go at it like rabbits. But yeah, back to the point. Once the honeymoon effect wore off, they got a handle on their life in this world and made for the guild hall. I know I mentioned a tavern. That was essentially a wedding gift. They were given a home, so no stables for them. However, said tavern is immensely broken down and bare. Aqua goes first, like in canon. Now, I looked for months to find raw character stats, and I couldn't. So for the sake of my sanity, I'll just say Aqua had a perfect role since she's a goddess, meaning 18 in everything except for her intelligence. Now yes, Aqua has her stupid moments, but she has common sense at least. And then there's the fact that she's good at her job to a point. So I'm gonna say her intelligence is a 9. So that's a 0 modifier. In D&D, once again, 0 modifier. If there are any D&D enthusiasts amongst you, let me know if you think I'm being far too generous here, but personally I think it fits for the story. But like I said, I'm being D&D forward. Aqua still picks Archpriest, obviously, since that's the best one for her. Now it's Kazuma's turn. He does the thing. Well, sir, your stats are just as incredible as your wife's, with the exception of your constitution. Here's where something weird happens. Odd. You already have a class and 1 level with 5 unspent levels. This was some of Kazuma's soul's past experiences leaking out. You all know this now, but he does not at this point. However, we're not done with this scene. Your class is Warlock? There hasn't been one of those in almost a century. Here you are, sir. I'll apply those to your... Kazuma grabs her hand. Hold up. Put one of those levels in Knight. That surprised both the Guild Lady and Aqua. I'm going to say that people just don't multi-class here, but Kazuma just did. Aqua asked him why he made his decision. Aqua, I know you're an Archpriest, but look at my HP. It's kinda low for a 6th level character, even with multi-classing into a Knight. Now remember me saying his constitution was low? He had a constitution of 6, that puts him at a -2 modifier. I'm going to be a nice DM here, because that's essentially what I am, and assume full rolls for these initial levels only at the very least. He levels up to 5 in Warlock and puts those 2 points in his constitution at level 4. Even assuming a full roll, I've got to apply that negative. So, multi-classed, he has 41 HP due to, well, still having a -1 with Knight. So instead of a full D10, he gets 9. So 41 HP. Even Aqua has relatively higher HP than that. I know this is the first chapter, but I'll ask here for story's sake. Should I give Aqua the same treatment I gave Kazuma, meaning 6 levels? Or should I just have her catch up from level 1? Let's be clear here. She's gonna level faster than her husband anyway, since she's level 1 and he's level 6. But Aqua's stats, they're gonna remain where they are since she's a goddess. Her stats are not gonna grow. So she's still going to be slightly stupid. Or rather, common. The Guild Lady was hesitant, but Kazuma gets 2 starter sets. He'll sell everything he doesn't need to the Guild Lady after an effective persuasion roll. He keeps the Scholar's Kit and sells everything Warlock related short of the component pouch. Kazuma keeps everything Knight related and could have been upgraded to full plate but chose not to. Kazuma made some decent bank in selling his unneeded equipment at a proper value. For some reason, he had a feeling that he didn't require an arcane focus and doesn't remember making a pact, but it registers as Fiend. Remember, he has a modifier of +4 to his charisma, and due to Kazuma's ridiculous luck, he rolled a 20 in my hand, or rather in my head. He could have left with more money than it was worth, but he chose not to burn that bridge. Right now, he's rocking a sword, a shield, and basic plate mail. Now, as far as AC goes, That's armor class for anyone who doesn't do D&D. He's rocking, oh dear lord, he's got 20. So for story purposes, that's not going to mean he's impossible to hit. We're just going to say he can take a hit and keep rolling. So armor class in this is going to serve more as a damage bleeding type deal. Unless I say something goes over his armor class, he's not going to take damage. Or rather, not going to take full damage. Kazuma decides to be a good husband and provide for his wife and himself. A good chunk of the gold he made selling his items went to fixing living expenses like the bed and various other features. The scene with the toads still happens, but at the very least they have a functioning bath this time around and don't need to go to a bathhouse. The tavern they were given actually has running water. However, it is magically powered, so it's like pure created water and all of that. But I'll get into that later. It functions as a home, but of sorts, but is not quite ready for business. The two realize that they need a team, and Kazuma notices as a tall blonde passes him. She wears full plate armor and has a sword on her hip. There was also an odd-looking bastard sword on her back that had a deep red crystal on the pommel. The sword called out to him.
Master, you have returned.
Kazuma grabs at Darkness. Oh, that look in your eyes, so strong and intense. Whatever could your intentions be? Yes, I know that was rather tame for Darkness, but keep in mind of two things. One, some rando just grabbed her, albeit by the shoulder, and two, I told you I live with my family. So I gotta tone it down a bit. Kazuma was rather taken aback by this woman. Mayhaps he misheard her tone of voice. And then he took a deeper look into her eyes. She was slightly sweating, breathing heavily, and there was this look of desperation in her eyes. Yeah, this bitch is a total pervert.
Master, don't leave me with her.
Kazuma left the sword alone with her. While it felt utterly wrong for someone other than him to hold on to that blade, he really didn't want to deal with that pervert to get it. So we go back to Kazuma and Aqua waiting for applicants. Oddly enough, no one was biting, even with the addition of room and board. This Kazuma isn't a thief, however. He's a knight and warlocks. Those are two prestige classes. So yeah, that alone, added to Aqua being an archpriest, should have had people coming at them like crazy. However, no. Megumin introduces herself. I am Megumin of the Crimson Demon Clan, master of the mighty explosion. I am an archmage of great power and would add said power to your team. Aqua has a look that screams yes, but Kazuma's given her the mad look. Come back tomorrow, and we'll give you our decision. Kazuma said before Aqua could open her mouth. Very well. I shall await your choice. I hope you choose well. She seems nice. A little on the young side, but nice. There were no more applicants that day. Kazuma, why did you turn Megumin down like that? Explosion is one of the most powerful spells out there. It wasn't just because of her name, was it? The Crimson Demon Clan all have odd names. Kazuma lays on the couch next to his wife. No, dear. It wasn't because of her name. She was carrying on like she was the ever-living and that got on my nerves. I looked it up in my spell compendium. Explosion is powerful, yes. But I know of a few spells that don't exactly exist here that I'm curious about trying. Cosmo sighed. She's getting in though, right? She was our only applicant. And more magic in possibly another warrior could never hurt. Kazuma let out another sigh. His wife was right. Like I said, stupid, yes. Complete idiot, no. Kazuma's thoughts went to that bastard sword that seemed to call to him. He envisioned himself holding that sword, but something about him was different in said vision. He just couldn't tell what. Later, while cuddling with his wife in the bed, a chandelier falls. Kazuma pushes his wife out of dodge. He ain't so lucky. And it really hurts him. Like, lethally. That AC of his ain't gonna do him diddly unarmored. Kazuma! Aqua howled in sorrow. She immediately cast Revivify, which I'm gonna say she has access to as a level 1 archpriest minimum to bring her husband back. Usually souls from the other worlds can't really be resurrected into this one, but remember, his soul was meant to be here in the first place. I'll give you a scene with Kazuma speaking with Eris while Aqua is casting the spell, since the hereafter isn't exactly bound by time. Kazuma awoke in the lap of a white-haired beauty. She's not on Aqua's level, but she's rather cute. These are Kazuma's thoughts, not mine. Eris, we meet again. We've all read the title, so let's hit this, yeah? Eris reincarnated Kazuma into Earth's for being quite benevolent while still doing his job as the Demon King. Now that he's died, he'll never forget that little detail. I was never expecting you to marry Aqua like that. Well, looks like our time is up. Go comfort your wife, lover boy. Kazuma was resurrected, but remember that change I told you about? Kazuma is now a tiefling. As far as his look goes, we're going standard with this. His skin is a dark crimson, his eyes are golden yellow, and his hair is as black as night. Now his tail is rather thick and his horns are curled backwards. So, no gouging Aqua's eyes out. Kazuma, don't scare me like that. Ever again, you took too long to come back. Kazuma and Aqua knew that roof was getting fixed next. She was a little surprised by his change in appearance, but no one else was. To everyone other than Kazuma and Aqua, he had always been a tiefling. Since he's a tiefling now, his charisma is 20 and his intelligence 19. The agreed upon time came and Megumin was waiting for them with a nervous look on her face. Kazuma, we have to let her join. She looks so sad. Kazuma admits defeat. Even if she can only cast one spell, he is capable of filling that gap. Megumin of the Crimson Demon Clan, we welcome you into our party. Collect your personal articles, and we'll assign you a room. However, you should know that 10% of your earnings shall go to making it a better place to stay. Megumin would just consider that rent, and that's not bad, all things considered. So she was happy with that. Megumin nods her head. No one else really wanted her. Where exactly are our lodgings anyway? Megumin was speaking in Infernal to Kazuma. Perfect Infernal. That got a small smile out of him. Another pull for you. Does Aqua speak Infernal as well? Or does she only speak Celestial in common? Meaning she'll be in the dark whenever Megumin and Kazuma have a chat in Infernal. That would add to some hilarity at his wife's expense. But back to the story, yeah? We're holed up in the old Deviluke tavern at the moment. At the moment, it's only really suitable for living, but we intend to get the place up and running. I even plan to sell some ale to the guild hall on the side until we become a flat out tavern again. Now, I wonder how many of you caught that anime reference. Megumin's eyes widened at the mention of ale. He'd need people to test it after all. Kazuma saw the look on Megumin's face and smirked. He has his guinea pig. Since Aqua's resistance is crazy high, by D&D standards, she can't get trashed unless she willingly fails the check. Either way, he wasn't quite ready to sell his unworldly ales quite yet. And that's what we're going to call them, unworldly ales. Since this Kazuma is going to be a bit of a bookworm. Thus the high intelligence. I mean, he wasn't weak. He just wasn't fast enough to beat the train. He's strong enough that he's standard, somewhat in shape. So that kind of translates into this. But yeah, he knows a lot, and I do mean a lot about, well, Earth. Mostly cuisine related, but he knows how to make things like beers, and beers from Earth. That's going to be a lot of potential business for his tavern. Which I'm going to say is why he was granted that anyway. But back to the point. Megumin and Aqua still get froggered, but Kazuma just uses enthrall and succeeds. Release my women at once. The beasts eject the two, and they walk away. Megumin was out of mana before they can do anything, really.
Darkness beyond twilight, deep from within where my power grows, shall the fools who stand before me fall before the power I possess. Dragon slave!
I paraphrased it since I don't know if I have to or not, so I decided to be safe with that. That spell did a whole lot more damage than Explosion ever could have, and all was left was bits and pieces. However, their cards proved that they killed them, and they had parts to sell, so it works. Oh, that was the sound of Megumin's panties mentally dropping. Sure, Explosion is powerful, but Dragon Slave is way more destructive, considering that the step up from it could end the world if misincanted. She would later ask about that spell and later be told she can't use it since it's a spell intended for warlocks. She was not happy with that. I guess I can't end this without darkness, can I? Kazuma is once again made subject to darkness, but in comes Chris with her. Go on, Darkness. Ask him. A shy Darkness stepped up to Kazuma. Hello, Sir Kazuma. I am Darkness, a 10th level crusader. I heard that you intend to go after mightier prey, and for that I believe my services would do well. I would gladly throw myself at your enemies and make myself subject to...
Kazuma, release me from her grasp. The time is now.
You're in, Darkness. However, you should know that 10% of your earnings are going towards fixing up the tavern we call home, and shall stop once it's in proper living standards. Unless, of course, you'd like a small partnership in the tavern business side. But might I ask you about that blade on your back? The look in Darkness's face turned sour. This blade once belonged to a former demon king. Ever since an ancestor of mine slew the king, it had cursed whoever dared wield it in battle. It is my cross to bear, and I could never allow anyone to take on its curse.
Say my name, and I shall see yours once more. You remember me. I can feel it. Free me from this wench.
Kazuma accepted this for a fact. Grimlock, to me. He said this in Infernal, and the sword is now with him. Where it belonged. Darkness said something about sweet denial and a horrendous thief violating her personal belongings, and Kazuma corrected her with a slight lie. This sword is my ancestral weapon, which is why it came to me, and as such shall reward, not curse me. It wasn't exactly a lie, and since he was a tiefling, it was believable. Not even Darkness would contest that. And like that, our group had gathered. Chris would do freelance work for them on the side for now, but for some reason, Kazuma had his eye on her. See you next time, Deadites.